at this point, right, my left hand, as you can see here, is kind of up anyway. And if this slap, let's say this left hand, his right, my left, were to come around here to try and slap me in the head, I do not need to duck my head below the level of the slap. I only need to duck my head below the level of this broad right here. Okay, I'm glad to be here with my half-Asian lawyer, N.G. Morgan Jr. You know, we get a lot of requests often for behind-the-scenes, kind of some inside baseball, but none more than from the recent installment of Change My Mind, actually. Well, not to change my mind, but when dysphorians, we can use that term, when dysphorians attack. Because I was assaulted not once, but twice.
Oh, man.
By angry transgenders. Can you explain for me real quick, assault versus battery? Assault is the bad one, and battery is the good assault.
It depends on this. It depends what state. So in Texas, assault is when you've given the apprehension of being battered. Battery is the actual physical connection, like when you actually touch someone or hit them.
So assault is the better battery.
Assault is the you didn't hit them, but they were scared about being hit.
Yes.
But again, that's only
it's a better battery.
It's a better battery.
If you have to pick which one, you pick the better one, the assault.
Exactly. You didn't get hit in the assault one.
I'm confused.
Yeah. Okay. Did you guys see? Have you guys seen the?
I have not.
One just yet. Text? Oh, right. To support the guy who signs up for some checks.
No.
But so we went. This is for context for people who are just coming in right now. I highly recommend that you go and watch the. I shouldn't highly recommend my own videos. If you want to be very entertained,
I would highly recommend it.
Go and watch the videos as well as the Change My Mind for more context, because this is pretty much just silliness. This is not necessarily of. There's not a ton of value added here, other than some incredible entertainment, which I hope was worth it. Yeah.
That's what they came for.
Because my pride was, I mean, do you have any idea how terrible it feels to be assaulted by transgenders and not be able to do anything because you know that you would immediately be hauled out in cuffs? And even though I have half-Asian lawyer Bill Richmond on retainer, he can't stop. He cannot stop the torch mob of me so much as flicking the ear of a gender dysphorian. That is a hate crime. The SPLC will be here. All right, but let's walk you through this because there was some stuff going on that you couldn't have been privy to, and we'll do a little bit of a play-by-play. But here, since you guys haven't seen it, is the first time you're seeing the very first assault at the Women's March. Here we go. Let's watch this. Would you like to come sit down? My cigar.
Yeah, that's nice. Mr. James Dean himself with that jacket.
Capture the flag, sweetheart. Now, the wonderful thing about sweetheart, and you'll see that I return to that, is that it was a term of endearment.
Yeah, of course.
Which women then deemed sexist, and desperately wanting to identify as women, transgenders also claim it to be incredibly sexist.
Dang it.
It's like, I think sweetheart is, a woman says, I think a sweetheart is sexist, and transgenders are like, me too, me too. I'm with them, right?
So this was a man to woman, male to female.
That was
This is a woman.
This is it's a what?
Okay,
shame on you.
I'm not dead naming
shame on you.
Anything. I'm trying to understand
we
here.
We don't know unless we ask.
And
well, it's usually pretty obvious, but I'll give you that.
That's the role we should play, by the way. Ask every large woman their preferred pronoun and see how that works out.
It's not going to be well.
So let me give you a little bit of play-by-play here. This is something that a lot of people may not know, but we do have security, obviously, at these events.
Right. Yep.
But primarily, my #1 focus is to avoid being harmed while still staying safe. And so sometimes it requires that you defend yourself, and it requires creative ways of doing that without harming the other person.
Right.
Which, before we get to this just goes to show you the complete lack of accountability from these people. This male to female transgender walked up and tried to steal the private property of, even if you don't know me or you don't disagree with our policy, me and then 2 other 220-pound men.
Right?
That's over it's 700 pounds of meat.
Hey,
there's no way.
I like the balls on her.
But I wouldn't even. Would you ever dream of doing that? Look, I wouldn't dream of doing it if it were a scrawny walking prawn Antifa.
Yeah. No, there's no way that you would do that unless you knew that you had a free pass and that's what they've been given.
And by the way, the police were right there. They did nothing.
Yeah.
So let me be really. So in this instance, there actually was a little bit of sort of technical maneuvering at play. So let's replay this clip here, Corda Black Garrett. So we can see, okay, so I see this person up there. I have my cigar. It's a La Rana. Great cigar. Look at this. Right away, I know he's going for the going for the table. And I'm thinking, okay, all right, I have to handle this. And okay, let's freeze frame. Okay, so before we get to this really quickly, I've seen some people say like, oh, you need 3 people to stop one No, we need 3 people to stop one transgender and not harm them greatly.
Right. Yes.
Just think about coming over the top with that. But the whole thing is, we don't want to commit counter assault. But I was looking at this here, so we can pause really quickly. So one thing I want you to see is, I don't know if you saw this, but right here, okay, I don't know if you can see this. See how my foot comes up off the ground?
Yeah.
So right away, I know that this gender dysphorian is yanking on that sign and this person's weight is backwards.
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to let go of the sign. Now, what I do is I actually saw that the weight was very heavy, okay, on this lead leg right there. So let me erase that. Let me make it a little bit clear so that way I don't have to get in the way of the line later. So there I can see, look, back foot is up. So we know the weight is on this lead leg. That is the lead leg that I go for in just lightly tripping with my foot. Why did I do that? Well, let me tell you why I did that. Because when you tend to trip somebody's leg, and we'll get to that in a second, this person would have one choice, right? They would either have to go ass backwards into pavement or
lovely bush.
Let go of the sign and rotate out. And credit to this gender dysphorian, very good balance. Probably would be good in a wrestling meet at defending a single leg. Probably was an all-state wrestler before this.
What were you thinking like when she... This person, I don't know how to say it. When they were coming up, like, were you thinking this is somebody who's coming up to sit down, or were you like, oh?
No, I knew right away, and I was entirely thinking, okay, how do we make sure that it's the only sign we had? For that? I was thinking, how do we keep this sign?
Did you see that BG style walk up? I mean, that was pro wrestler right there.
Really
I mean,
so I'm thinking, how do we keep this sign? And pry this person off without them being able to claim that we harmed them, even though they instigated something. So again, I'll show you real quick. Okay, foot comes up and traps this foot right here. This person's choice is to go down into the pavement or circle out 360. And if we play it right now, you can see what happened. I sweep the leg, continue pushing it up, lets go of the sign and circles out to avoid being off balanced, and then walks away. See that little hop? That's to regain the balance. So
there you go.
This is the beauty. And look, a nice, and I will say, beautiful technique, circled out into a wonderful little curtsy to convince us all that you are a woman. So
still not convinced.
I'm convinced.
Hey,
I'm convinced.
How dare you?
I dare.
And this is something actually that we practice quite a bit in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, for people who don't know. Now, when we do it, we typically do it, obviously not holding a change my mind sign, but you grab a collar elbow. And so when you do this foot trip and you're actually trying to take somebody to the ground, what you would do is steer them to the weight of the leg that you're trying to sweep, right? Basically, you catch that foot, and then when they try and step up and step their foot out, you sweep it and you tip them. It's a very non-violent way of getting somebody to the ground who's a threat or opening something else if you're looking to try and achieve a takedown. As a matter of fact, one of my favorites, Roger Gracie, you can see it right here. It's called Diashi Barai as a takedown, performing it against Rafael Lovato. Now watch the way he circles, he lifts up, tries to, and circles and goes down. Let's see that in slow motion really quickly. So it's the exact same technique that was used at the Look, now the foot comes up to try and avoid it, and the upper body wheeling is what drives him to the ground.
Wow. Now, that would have been the fate of said transgender.
Right. I knew they were going to either cling on to that sign or let go.
Yeah. All right. Well, you did a good job.
So it was a good thing. Nobody got hurt.
It was a very good job. But you got to keep them safe.
And I also think it's a good thing to talk about when you talk about self-defense, right? Like, what are the other ways? People tend to get this idea that if you are a gun owner, that you're just looking to, or for any excuse to shoot someone, but really you learn a lot about how to de-escalate. And one of the ways to de-escalate is to be prepared to execute a move that allows people to get away or allows them to have the option, right? Because if all you know how to do is flail and punch, which a lot of the Antifa members do, that's what they do, right? And so instead,
concrete milkshakes,
exactly. Then you resort to concrete milkshakes,
crouching milkshake, hidden concrete technique.
You got your blizzard, and it's just terrible, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like Nicolas Cage and the Weatherman. They're just launching Frosties. But that is what I will say. The reason that I'm a big fan of the grappling arts, because it can be drunk uncle jiu-jitsu, as I call it, or it can be something more severe. It's basically as severe as you want it to be. If you have to strike somebody, your only way of dealing with the situation is hurting someone, which in some scenarios that's appropriate, but you do not want to deal with the legal ramifications, not to mention the social justice ramifications. And as you saw in the Change My Mind, these people there, especially this one woman I was interviewing, were immediately quick to forgive and accept, deem all horrible behavior on behalf of transgenders acceptable.
Exactly.
Basically saying, I deserved it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think
that sign was asking for it.
Is that a fidget spinner saleswoman? Or?
Oh, yes, we will get to that in a second.
Well, no, I just had a comment. It seems like because we've removed all of these barriers, like, you know, as kids growing up, you knew not to get out of line around certain guys because you might get popped in the mouth. If you said something completely wrong, or if you did something really aggressive towards them, they might defend themselves. Maybe it was wrong, whatever.
Right.
But you knew where the line was. Now we have no idea where the line is. Because people are doing most of this stuff on social media. They can say whatever they want to say, and then they go and do this in public, and it's like, now I have to treat you with kid gloves. I don't know if you have a knife in your pocket and you're going to grab the sign and then try to knife me.
Right, absolutely. Which, by the way, thank you for bringing up where the line is, because we're going to get in this next one into the line of attack. And what you see is maybe just seems like some kind of brilliant mocking that I'm performing. Sometimes it's actually really just a way of disguising, protecting myself, again, from being hurt. So let's roll this clip. You guys, I guess, haven't seen this. Of the next, because that was actually tame. That was positively tame compared to what happened. Okay, spoiler alert. It involves a hobo's lunchbox being thrown at me.
Oh, no.
By the way, there's no defense for that.
They don't teach you that one.
Search high and low at every Krav Maga school in the country.
Yep.
They'll show you how to palm strike the nose, all that stuff, stuff that you won't really pull off, but they have no hobo's lunchbox defense. They even have monkey grabs peach. You know what that is? It's where you grab the nuts. Yeah. I read it in a ninjutsu book. That's not a joke.
That looked like a Spider-Man.
Did it? That's pretty much what it was supposed to be. All right, so here is the next gender dysphoria, and there's so many of them there who showed up here while we were interviewing this woman.
Let's say a cop or an attorney or whatever, they ask the question, well, what were you wearing that night? That permeates.
Which is bullshit, by the way.
It is bullshit,
I'm so sorry. And you think rape culture is a fucking
Can you just wait? We'll have a conversation afterwards.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
There's no conversation that needs to be had. Rape is fucking serious. Rape has happened to me 4 fucking times, and I'm sick and tired of this fucking debate. Men need to respect women, period.
So you should respect women.
I'm sorry, I am a woman, so fuck you if you don't think so. I don't even have time for this. And I don't have time.
My mistake.
You're going to let me speak because here's my truth. I've been raped 4 times. I've known women that have been raped multiple times gruesomely. And how dare you sit up here and try to say that women aren't worth respect? F you.
I didn't say that.
I am a woman. I just became a woman. It's just like people don't even respect me, period. And I'm already black, so it's just like, yeah, that already goes against me anyways. But still.
Oh boy.
You piece of living garbage ass dumpster fire trash gum on the bottom of my shoe. Oh my god, I wish I had a tissue for the blood. I would
Might I suggest it's your behavior, not because you're black or a
Now
woman.
watch this.
I'm sorry. Can I stop here? That's a bridge too far.
Oh.
That's the bridge too far. Everything that was said, but me saying, might I suggest it's your behavior? Oh, what? You animal! She's like, whoa, I think this is going to escalate to a point where there might be some accountability for this psychopath. By the way, not everyone, just that one with the fidget spinner.
Oh my God.
Was clear. And lest you doubt me, you will see why I say I believe that person was mentally unstable. Also, we were informed that person was mentally unstable.
Yeah, that might be it.
I want to be clear about this.
Yeah.
So a couple of things, again, and we're kind of joking, but listen, we've had some really dicey scenarios. Keep in mind, for those who've forgotten, we forewent the Virginia gun rally because we thought it would be too dangerous for this. It was the same day, and we could only do one.
Yeah.
But there's a certain level, or there's a certain distance with which I'm no longer comfortable. Yeah. When people come in, and this person came in hot. So let's replay this, and I'll show you what's kind of going through my mind here, and quarterback will pause.
Debate. Men need
no
to
debate, by
respect
the way.
women, period.
So you should respect women.
I'm sorry, I am a woman. So
by the way, I really didn't know that. Would you know that's a woman right away? I just thought it was a guy dressed in a jacket. He's wearing a men's jacket. It's a Letterman's jacket. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Sorry, I was talking before. Look, come on. Right there, it's like, well, that's a Letterman's jacket and a fidget spinner and a carry-all.
How do you know?
It's the serial killer starters kit.
Yeah, can you please give us a little help here?
So right away, I don't know if you notice here, this person is leaning in and getting closer and closer. So when we start, my hand is about right here, okay? And this is something, actually, Boss Rutan is a friend of the show. We've talked about this, and he's done this before. When I get to a certain level where I'm not necessarily comfortable, I make sure, and you see my hand go from there to here. Why? My microphone is right here, and you can actually see this if you go back to the One Crowder Confronts where the guy tried to hit me with the pint glass.
Right.
This translates very quickly into being able to protect yourself. Now, it's not kung fu wushu stuff where a fight is, if it happens, is never pretty. You're just trying to not be hurt if someone surprises you. So, let's go back here. At this point, there was a point where I realized when this person was leaning in and yelling, the hand emerges from the table and comes up, as you can see right here. Why? Because, of course, I am looking to protect my face. Should something come around and hit me in the face.
You should just lean into that.
And we'll come back to that in a second. Also, too, this may seem kind of trivial, but I don't know if you noticed this. Right here, see the elbow is right against the body. And again, that's because this kind of instinct, you don't want someone to hit you in the body. I'm trying to think what is exposed right here if this person tries to get aggressive. Now, you'll notice before that, when this individual was further away, I was sitting here, I was perfectly comfortable. Once that distance is closed, and I would highly recommend everybody out there take some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or some kind of a realistic sporting combat art. Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, judo, boxing, Muay Thai kickboxing. That's pretty much what works, okay? Yeah. Because you'll be able to practice this all the time. And it's about staying safe. It's not about, of course, hurting anyone or using any whatever martial arts prowess you may. It's just, it's an athletic event at that point. I don't know why people look like, are your hands registered weapons? No one's hands are registered weapons. Steven Seagal's hands are registered sporks, okay?
They flail when you run.
Yeah. So I think when I play this again, I get even less comfortable as this person leans in even more. And so what you see with this, I'll explain to you exactly why my hand took that position.
You piece of living garbage-ass dumpster fire trash gum on the bottom of my shoe.
Well, okay, for a couple of things here. Z is saying this. Because I realized Z was expecting this to be like a clap back moment.
Right.
And I think Z thought that everyone around would agree with them because this was a woman's march, right?
Right.
And it was silence. She was like, piece of garbage, bottom of my shoe, dumpster fire, and then just kept going until Z realized that there was not going to be any sort of applause.
No support. None of those landed.
Now, at this point, though, you can see Z is more and more leaning in closer and closer. So at this point, I'm a little bit concerned.
How was the breath?
This is where I start doing that, as you see. My fingers, my hands rotating. I'm doing a little bit of this. Now, why? Why did I do it with my right hand? Couple of things here that are important to note, okay? I'm going to switch this actually to a red stylus to make this a little bit easier. Here's what I thought. And this actually did occur to me at this time. I'm like, okay, this person is probably not going to be throwing straights. Because it's a transgender. They're not going to be straight. They're not going to be going straight down the pike with a jab right cross. I'm imagining it's most likely to be a slap. Now, slaps come in on the periphery. They come in on the periphery. So at this point, right, my left hand, as you can see here, is kind of up anyway. And if this slap, let's say this left hand, his right, my left, were to come around here to try and slap me in the head, I do not need to duck my head below the level of the slap. I only need to duck my head below the level of this broad right here. Because that would absorb the primary force of that blow.
Now, is she this person in the chair a liberal, I'm assuming, based on the behavior?
Yes, very much so.
So this would be a very good shield to use.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Yes. Well, I wasn't looking to use a shield.
Well, I was just
assuming that this person wouldn't want to fight an ally. But considering that later on this person ended up stealing a hobo's lunchbox. Gosh. Seems as though that wasn't their primary concern.
No, okay.
So again, I was thinking this isn't coming straight down the pipe, straight right cross. And if that happens, all I would need to do, of course, is lean back because there's a table in the way. Right. So we've eliminated the risk of straight down, not only because of the table, but transgender, probably going to be a slap, let's be honest, very limp-wristed. And then we've eliminated the risk of coming over to my left side because let's assume this is the lady's head on this. I would just need to get below that level. You can't really see because of the depth, but right there I'm already below. It's like I don't need to outrun the bear, I just need to outrun you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened. So, what I was figuring here was the most likely strike to come my way would be that Louisiana right coming around over to the right side of my face, their left hand, which would still require, again, a big reach, right? A big reach over across the table would be telegraphed, and I knew that if I had my hand up, not only was this saying get on with it, not only did it appear to be hilarious, but in retrospect, this was me primarily concerning with myself with this is the most likely threat, so I want to have this hand up to parry, do whatever I've got to do.
The purse and fidget spinner.
Yes. Thank goodness. I have no. I could have been a ninja star for all I knew.
You don't know with those.
Yeah.
You guys know.
Yeah. I mean, she could have had concrete in that purse.
She had concrete in that purse. Oh, and that is also something important to note. We now know that this Tupperware container lunchbox was stolen from a hobo for two reasons. One, because the hobo was picking it up afterward and was very clear that these were his belongings.
Oh.
And it also, part of the belongings included a New Testament, which we know this individual probably was not carrying around.
Yeah,
but even more than that, I noticed, here, actually, you know what? Let's go back to this picture. Can we go back to this? Here, let me get rid of all these things. I noticed while we were here, look, the clutch. Because I can't remember what this was, but there was some kind of a designer logo. And I remember looking at it going, oh, that's a fake bag, because the zipper, here, let me change the color here. The zipper, which I could see on this side, was very poorly stitched. So I knew.
You noticed? Hold on. You noticed
Steven Crowder.
I swear to you.
Oh my God.
I did. I hand to all that is good and holy. I noticed that the zipper wasn't actually matching up with the bag, and so I thought, this is probably a relatively new gender transition, someone who's dabbling because they haven't gotten the whole toolkit yet.
That's right.
Sherlock Crowder.
You're on a budget initially.
That became relevant when the hobo's lunch pail, or whatever it is, this is what I'm going with. It looked like one of those things that you would put like Crayolas in class.
Yeah, like an art cart.
So was this a homeless person, or was this like a train riding bum? Very different.
Your guess is
hobo. Is that the
I don't know.
delineating factor?
You say hobo, and I'm like, oh man, he's got a little stick with a bag on the back, and he's
with a handkerchief.
Yeah,
I don't know.
5 o'clock shadow.
He didn't say.
Well, the thing is now, I was saying hobo to save time, but now you've eaten it all up.
It's done.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't get any advantage out of that. Yeah.
The point
accomplished
here, and let's not lose sight of the point, is there is no way that this package could have been carried in this purse.
That's true.
In this carry-all.
Would simply not support it.
And this person was not gone nearly long enough to go to any kind of apartment or place where they could have, maybe they could have gone to their car, but again, the hobo was picking up the belongings going, crazy person took my Bible and my hairbrush. It was a Bible and hairbrush. So
that's mean.
That's the story I'm going with.
Yeah.
And do we have proof of that there, Quarter Black Garrett? You have a clip, if I'm not mistaken, where after this transgender individual leaves, and you found the footage. If we zoom in, you can see, bring that up. Wow, they're leaving.
This one, hold on.
Okay, that's just more berating me.
Here we go.
Okay,
and there we go.
So then the interview continues now. Look.
Because that's what led to witch burning.
Look, right there.
It is.
No hobo's lunchbox.
No.
It is not there. Good detective work.
Very nice.
Quarter Black Garrett.
This is building a case.
Now, only, what would we say? Maybe
like 10 seconds later?
10 seconds later, the gender dysphorian emerges once more. Quarter Black Garrett, let's show that clip. Where you can see, look, and now right around the corner,
I understand that if I lived in another country,
where there just so happens to be a hobo who is now missing a lunchbox, by the way.
Give me my lunchbox.
I know of.
Clank, miss. And then shuffles away. Watch this run.
I can't say
Look at
the
this.
Come on, that's inappropriate, sweetheart.
Terrible running. The Steven Seagal School of Athletics.
The hardest part of this was while still conducting an interview and trying to keep a straight face. This person just ran off like. Did you ever see the movie Gremlins 2?
Yes.
And there's a female gremlin who was chasing the guy. Like, give me a kiss, and the guy was not interested.
Yeah.
That's how this person ran off. And that's the last clip that we have.
That's the last one, yeah.
So, and then after that, the man was collecting his belongings. Unfortunately, here's something that actually is important. That homeless man didn't ask for his stuff to be stolen.
He's the victim in this case.
And this lady who I was interviewing, this obviously far left, third wave feminist, excused all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Didn't say a word about it.
Well, if you go and watch, she says, well, that was very brave of her to say that she had been raped 4 times. Like, wait. it's brave to lie. I mean, we don't know if that's true or not. It's brave just to make a claim and then assault somebody. And then afterward, when the lunchbox was thrown, I said, I just can't believe you're fine.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't go. And I said, that's not very nice, sweetheart. She goes, well, you know, you shouldn't have been goading it. After they've left, after they've curtsied down the block, they've sashayed. He's probably sashayed himself into Fort Worth at this point. Yeah. You shouldn't have goaded him. He's no longer in my line of sight. It could be a mirage at this point.
That's awesome.
Gone.
But all of it was entirely excusable because we deserved it. And this is what's so important, I think, for people to note. And this is why it's important for you to keep your head on a swivel and stay safe. If you are in these groups, and you'll notice this, we're going to release some more conversations with Change My Minds. The white cis men are so scared to speak because if there's any kind of a confrontation or disagreement, they will immediately be vilified.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And they know that there will be no recourse. They are in the wrong. This is the culture that has been created here. I mean, you see this right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
At every single turn, it's, hold on a second, you're the white male, so you must be wrong. So you need to learn how to defend yourself, how to stay safe without even the perception of causing harm to anybody else, because they're looking for you to be wrong, and they really want you to be wrong. And this was really disconcerting when we were there to see this kind of a mindset. It really just comes from the idea that, okay, you establish this myth that we live in a patriarchal society, that rights are afforded to men that are not afforded to women, and that all of these people are neo-Nazis or white supremacists or hate groups. Therefore, it's okay to, the ends justify the means, even if I steal an object from a homeless person, provided that I am whipping it at a cis white male who disagrees with me, and no one will do anything. Happens all the time.
Well, and I think she probably would have been mad at you had you not come to her defense if this woman had targeted her. Right? If this woman had come after her and said something about it, she probably would have been like, help me.
Who came after who?
The transgender comes after the liberal.
Oh, you got to be careful.
And a vortex
I swear, I'm not trying to be a wise ass.
No, I know.
I'm just very confused. And I was there.
You know, but you would have been blamed for that. Why didn't you stand up for me? Well, I just didn't. I thought you were in the wrong.
I thought
you had it coming.
Yeah, and I don't even know, I mean, if I would have ever filed a police report. I mean, I also wonder, this person came up and said, I am newly a woman, and I was raped 4 times, which may or may not be true.
Which means you got it right to begin with, because you called her out on that.
But the thing is, first off, okay, if I had a gun to my head, I would lean toward probably not 4 times.
But
probably.
I also asked the question, when did this individual go from male privilege to now female victim status? And they weren't able to give me an answer. They said, whenever this person claims. So I now understand the solution to this problem, whereas I've been training and I pay all of this money to have security go out there to keep me and my crew safe. What I need to do is go out, slap on some rouge and a tube of lipstick, and just claim that I am a woman, and then slap people and steal their shit with no accountability whatsoever. Jack Nicholson said this best. What you want to know? How do I know women's marches and feminists so well? I picture a man and I remove all reason or accountability. Hey there, YouTube viewers. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell if you're already subscribed to this channel, because that lets you know when new videos come out and they don't show up on the YouTube search feed. Also, there are videos playing in boxes here. Click one of those. Just of all the things that I just mentioned, all you have to do is one. And if you don't, I will run for the United States presidency under the 1064th percent Cherokee Party. I have yet to pick my VP.